name is Paul Marca. I'm principal of Parallax Global Advisors and a former Associate Vice Provost at Stanford University, where I spent 32 years in higher education. And what I hope to talk about today in a very short period is how the digital skills and organizations need to adapt and adjust to the digital reality. I use Digital 3.0 as a means to share really some perspective on how I have seen personally the area of digital evolving. The first Digital 1.0 was really trying to, for us at the Stanford Center for Professional Development, an organization founded by Hewlett and Packard many years ago. And here you see the two founders of Hewlett and Packard behind their famous Silicon Valley garage. We saw version 1.0 when we videotaped in 1996 after extending education to industry. We videotaped and put the content online. Literally the classes that we were offering to students in industry at a distance. We captured that, and that's version 1.0, capturing the stage play, which is also very much aligned to the film industry. If you think way back in the day, they used to video or film the stage play. In the similar fashion, Digital 1.0 was about capturing what was happening in the classroom and putting it online. And we did that for our master's degree in 1996. And in fact, Stanford University continues to do that to this day, leveraging this Digital 1.0 version. When we started working with professionals in the world of work in this developing professional certificates in about 2000, we realized that capturing the play, the action in the classroom was good, but it needed to be improved. And so we started to use instructional design work in order to improve Digital 2.0. And in fact, that was very well received by the marketplace. And I would argue that companies that were supported like Coursera and Udacity are now in this Digital 2.0 space. They're trying to work to adapt content from universities and put that online in a way that might create an interesting experience. And I would argue that all industries are in this same space. How do you move the activity from the bookstore sales in person to that of online, which is Amazon has done very well? I think digital version 3.0, the opportunity that I see is moving from this blended learning experience to an entire digitally immersive experience to address that opportunity. And I would say that as we think about the opportunity for all of us, it is about trying to think about these digital natives who are entering our universities and our classrooms, and how will they be adapting to the environment in the future, and how do businesses, higher education as well, think about this. Here's an image that I'd love to share with you that speaks about how we evolved our experience. The first thing we did at the top of the pyramid is create graduate programs and extend them to industry, digital version 1.0. Still a very viable offering as we built these programs. We also, down in the middle of this section of this diagram, we focused on trying to build and create more flexible options for the busy working professional. And that forced us to adapt the ways in which we were delivering this content. It wasn't really 40 hours or the semester-long course, but was rather shorter snippets focused on the market need and interest. And then at the bottom of this pyramid, you see where we offered massively open and online courses. We provided a lightweight experience, just a sampling of what the great work that Stanford was doing. And in some ways, I think all industries need to consider how they are going to, as we've shown here, ladder the levels of engagement. For higher education, it's really engaging at that lowest level, free courses in order to share what's going on at the university, and then encouraging learners to participate in higher levels of engagement with more academic rigor, so moving up the pyramid, but only so far as learners would like to go. And I think this other point here that I would make is we're seeing in the digital natives a real need and interest for building community online, and especially in the digital world. Higher education particularly struggles with doing this sort of thing. This is my former boss, Professor Jim Plummer, who was the dean of the School of Engineering for over a decade. And he said, standing still is like going backwards. I think higher education has a rich tradition over 1,000 years in creating in-person, high-touch experiences for the privileged few. And in addition, it's faculty centered. Many faculty, as Jim Plummer was promoted through his great work as a scientist and researcher and electrical engineering professor. And he was promoted to his leadership role as dean. That doesn't equip him necessarily with leadership around innovation and entrepreneurship. He's basically trying to sustain the organization. The other thing that has challenged higher education specifically, and this is applicable to many businesses, is the growth and expansion of administration. And what do administrators want to do? They want to preserve the status quo. And this is really something that I think is a challenge to many universities. The one piece of good news is the pandemic has showed us that universities can move very quickly, completely online. And I think the opportunity is to sustain, to manage, to preserve the gains that have been made in online education and work inside higher education administration to unlock some of that value for those students who can't be physically present for whatever reason, cost, time, family constraints, and so on. I think there's significant resistance. I couldn't resist sharing this. Dave Dufour has 50 phrases that kill innovation. And this is some of the resistance that, and these are numbered based on his list of 50 phrases. This is the common refrain for any innovations, for any new idea. We've tried it before. We don't have time. The union will scream, now is not the right time. And the one that's beautiful for higher education, let's form a committee. And has anyone else ever tried this? As if someone else has new insight as you're innovating an idea. I share this with you because no matter the industry that you're in, these are the refrains that you need to listen for as we all work to try to unlock value and opportunity. In the remaining few minutes, I just wanted to share some perspective on a potential path forward. Really, it's for higher education and really for any industry, leverage the history of experimentation. Rather than call it innovation, we're going to try something completely different. How can we sort of experiment, trial, and learn as opposed to succeed or fail? I think leveraging this history is really important. For the Stanford Center for Professional Development, the organization that I ran, we were bridging Stanford and industry with graduate and professional and massively open and online courses. How can you allow units like that to begin to unlock some of the innovative opportunities working with companies and with customers in new and different ways? And how can you bring that learning back to the institution so that universities can grow and think about not just the 4 or 8 year degree, but really the 60-year degree? The opportunity to partner with third parties starts to reduce the risk associated with universities making a big bet in a particular area. I can tell you that working with industry partners, we have been able to expand our online presence in, say, India, where the market factors are quite complicated. And having spent some time there, we used a third party to help do the marketing and sales. They provided great local context, and we had great content. The combination has proven to be very successful. I would say focus on the impact. It's not just about the local impact that you can make for those residential students, but put some content online, see what happens, and try to expand the global reach. There are so many people in this day and age who need great education to improve their lives, their working lives, their communities, and their organizations. And so thinking a little bit about not just the necessary things that will have an impact at your local environment, but rather leveraging digital platforms and partnerships to expand globally. And then finally, for higher education specifically, but really for all businesses, focus on the customer. For higher education, for so long, universities have been focused on faculty, preserving the faculty, creating new knowledge so that faculty might be able to promote their particular view, their particular area of interest. And that is wonderful and needs to continue. The university endeavor, though, needs to focus on, I think, students as customers. And that's a significant shift and a wonderful opportunity. So I shared just a few quick thoughts about digital 1.0. How we at SCPD, the Stanford Center for Professional Development, captured the stage play, how digital 2.0 is blending the activity, some online and some in-person content, and that is the way most organizations are happening and delivering content now. And then the opportunity to move to 3.0, digital first for those digital natives that are entering our midst. And I'll leave it there. I appreciate the chance. I apologize for the delay and the technical issues that people have had, and I'm open to any questions or comments. Thank you.